Where are the aliens? This is one of the biggest questions in science, often called the Fermi paradox. Back in 2017, a strange object named Oumuamua entered our solar system and shocked scientists around the world. Some experts even believed it might not be a simple space rock but something created by intelligent life. Now, Elon Musk has revealed something even more terrifying. Oumuamua has returned. But this time, it is not alone. When Oumuamua was first discovered in October 2017, astronomers were fascinated. It was the very first interstellar object ever observed in our solar system. Instead of looking like a normal asteroid or comet, it was completely different. It was long, thin, and flat, less than a millimeter thick but very wide, shaped almost like a sail. This made some scientists think it could move by using solar radiation as a kind of natural propulsion. What made things even stranger was that Oumuamua didn't behave like any natural object we had seen before. It had no tail like a comet, it gave off no heat signals, and it seemed to move with a precise trajectory. Even more mysterious, it accelerated as it passed close to the sun, almost as if it was being controlled or powered by something. Instead of just drifting through space randomly, it moved in a way that felt intentional, as if it was observing us before quickly leaving. At the time, many explanations were suggested. Some said it was a piece of a broken planet. Others thought it was an unusual comet. But none of those theories fully explained its odd behavior. The possibility that it was some kind of alien probe began to gain attention. Now things have taken an even darker turn. Elon Musk recently revealed that SpaceX's deep space tracking systems have once again detected Oumuamua entering the edge of our solar system. But this time, astronomers noticed something shocking. It wasn't alone. Alongside Oumuamua, several smaller objects appeared, traveling in perfect formation with it. At first, experts thought these were just fragments that had broken off, but fragments don't move in synchronized patterns. Others suggested these objects had always been there but went unnoticed during the first visit, but that theory didn't hold up either. This was something new, something deliberate. What's even more concerning is that Oumuamua shouldn't have been able to return at all. Its first journey took it on a slingshot path out of the solar system, and under normal physics, it should never have come back. And yet, here it was, re-entering our space, moving in strange ways, and this time bringing what appeared to be companions. The question is no longer just about what Oumuamua is, but what its return means. Is this a random cosmic event that we were lucky enough to witness twice, or is it evidence of something far more intelligent and far more unsettling out there in the stars? The strange path of Oumuamua and the smaller objects around it looked far too precise to be natural. It almost seemed as if they were being guided, moving together in perfect sync. Some experts suggested we should develop a global risk assessment system to prepare for such mysterious encounters. Elon Musk, however, took things further. He asked the question no one wanted to consider. What if this wasn't just a rock? What if Oumuamua was actually an alien spacecraft that had come to study our solar system back in 2017? And what if it had now returned, not alone, but with an entire fleet? At first, the public dismissed this as just another wild conspiracy theory. But the facts were difficult to ignore. Oumuamua's return should have been impossible based on the laws of physics. The new objects were moving in formation, following a planned route. The synchronized movements strongly suggested intelligence at work. It wasn't drifting like a comet or asteroid, it was behaving like something under control. When scientists pointed the world's most powerful telescopes at Oumuamua, what they discovered left them stunned. The readings showed that the object's surface was far too smooth for any natural rock. Instead of looking like stone or ice, it reflected sunlight the way a polished metal sheet would. To many experts, this was evidence of something manufactured, something designed for interstellar travel. The trajectory of the object was equally alarming. This time, it wasn't slingshotting around the sun and heading back out of the solar system. Instead, it was slowing down. Natural objects do not slow down like this. Only controlled spacecraft do. The only logical explanation was that this fleet was adjusting its speed on purpose, just like how Earth's spacecraft slow down when entering another planet's orbit. The realization sent shockwaves through the scientific community. And then came the most frightening detail. The projected path of Oumuamua and its companions showed that they were heading closer to Earth. During its first visit in 2017, the object had already passed relatively near our planet. But now, its deliberate slowdown looked less like a random encounter and more like a controlled approach. Experts couldn't agree on what this meant. Were we about to witness humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial life? If so, what were their intentions? Friendly or hostile? Fear mixed with curiosity. Even the most skeptical scientists began to doubt their earlier dismissals. The synchronized movement of the fleet was simply too hard to explain away as coincidence. For the first time, many wondered if this was proof that we were no longer alone. While governments and major space agencies hesitated, caught up in slow bureaucracy and debate, Elon Musk made a bold move. He directed SpaceX to take immediate action. Without waiting for official approval, he repurposed Starship missions that were already prepared for launch. The ships were quickly fitted with special observation probes, designed to capture close-range data from the mysterious objects. The mission had two goals. The first was scientific, to intercept Oumuamua and its fleet in space and scan them in detail to uncover the truth. But there was also a second, secret objective, one Musk did not immediately reveal to the public. Elon Musk knew that this could be humanity's very first contact with alien life. Because of this, he wanted the probe sent on the mission to do more than just scan the fleet. It needed the ability to attempt communication. This was something never done before in history. When Oumuamua was first discovered in 2017, it was racing past the sun at nearly 196,000 miles per hour. No private space agency had ever tried something like this. Usually, missions go through years of government approval and slow bureaucracy. But Elon Musk bypassed all of that and acted immediately, making people wonder, could he be the first human to talk to aliens? While Musk pushed forward, world leaders were growing increasingly worried. If this really was an alien fleet heading toward Earth, what were their intentions? Some feared that Oumuamua might not be a rock at all, but a fully operational probe sent by an advanced civilization specifically to investigate our planet. And if that were true, how could we be sure they were here in peace? The fear was overwhelming. People imagined the worst-case scenarios: an invasion, a war, or even the enslavement of humanity. Governments began considering defense strategies, and some military advisors even suggested launching a preemptive attack. They argued that if the alien ships posed a threat, waiting could mean the end of humanity. But Musk strongly disagreed. To him, talking about war was rushing too far ahead. He reminded people that the fleet might simply want contact, not conflict. Maybe they had come to share knowledge, or even to help humanity evolve as a species. After all, Oumuamua didn't behave like an asteroid or a comet. The only way to know the truth was to try communication. Musk also warned that if the aliens were highly advanced, any attempt at defense, or worse, an attack, could be seen as aggression. That might turn a peaceful encounter into a hostile one. Instead, he argued, Earth should send a signal of peace to reduce the chance of misunderstanding. But there was one huge problem. How could humans communicate with an alien species? For all we knew, they could be using a method of communication that was completely invisible to us. They might not use radio waves, sounds, or even light. It was like expecting a rabbit to understand human language. Before anyone could solve that problem, the world was shaken by a stunning new discovery. As the Oumuamua fleet approached closer to Earth, telescopes were finally able to capture clear images of the objects. And the pictures left no room for doubt. These were not random rocks at all. The shapes were smooth, with intricate designs, ridges, and shiny surfaces. These were ships, alien ships, built with technology far beyond anything humanity had ever seen. Their structure looked intentional and engineered, with craftsmanship that seemed centuries, maybe even thousands of years ahead of human capability. Scientists were baffled. They couldn't determine what material the ships were made of, nor how they were able to move so quickly and precisely without visible engines or exhaust. It was undeniable. This was a civilization so advanced that humanity had no hope of competing with it. This reality made Musk's approach the only sensible one. Hostility was out of the question. Peaceful communication was the only chance humanity had. But there was still the challenge: how to actually talk to them. So far, the fleet had not sent out any signals we could detect. Maybe they hadn't tried yet, or maybe their communication method was so advanced that humans simply couldn't recognize it. That's when Musk introduced a bold idea. If humans were too limited to figure out alien communication, then the task should be given to artificial intelligence. He proposed that the probe carry the most sophisticated AI ever developed, paired with powerful sensors that could scan and interpret any signals, no matter how strange. The AI would then try to respond, adapting in real time to whatever system the aliens were using. For the first time in history, the future of human-alien contact might depend not on humans, but on AI. There would still be human oversight, of course, but using AI as the first line of communication meant there was far less chance of a mistake. The idea that artificial intelligence, not a world leader, might make first contact with aliens sounded strange to many. But for Elon Musk, it was the smartest and safest path forward. The AI was designed to adapt to any type of communication the aliens might use. Whether it was electromagnetic waves, flashes of light, complex math, or sequences of numbers, the AI could quickly analyze and respond. To make this possible, the shuttle carried advanced sensors capable of detecting signals across many different forms. In many ways, it was the perfect ambassador for Earth: neutral, adaptable, and precise. The world now stood at the edge of a new era. Everything would begin with the launch of these probes. With cautious hope, SpaceX scientists sent the primary shuttle, named Voyager X, on a trajectory that would intercept the mysterious Oumuamua fleet. Unlike anything we had seen before, Oumuamua was the first confirmed object to arrive from outside our solar system. What Voyager X discovered was beyond imagination. As it closed in on the alien ships, its live feed to Earth revealed stunning images. The object we once thought was just a strange rock turned out to be a masterpiece of engineering. Its surface was flawless and gleamed in sunlight with an unnatural brilliance. Unlike human spacecraft, which are built from many different parts, scans showed this alien craft had been carved from a single piece of an unknown material. There were no seams, no joints, no construction lines. Even more shocking, the surface shimmered and seemed to absorb certain wavelengths of light while emitting others, as though it had its own energy signature. Its design was completely unlike anything humanity had ever imagined. The structure was less than a millimeter thick in some places but spread out wide like a giant sail, using solar radiation itself for propulsion. This technology allowed it to travel at incredible speeds, between Mach 5 and Mach 20, up to 20 times the speed of sound. At first, the fleet remained still as the probe drew near. Then, one of the smaller ships detached from the group and slowly approached Voyager X. It stopped just a short distance away, as though the fleet was sending an ambassador of its own. And then, communication began. The alien craft emitted pulses of light. At first, it seemed random, but patterns soon became clear. The flashes carried structure, like they were deliberately sending information. This was the moment Musk's gamble on AI paid off. The onboard system quickly analyzed the light pulses and realized they represented prime numbers. It appeared the aliens were testing us, trying to determine whether we had reached a certain level of intelligence and technology. The AI immediately generated its own response, sending back a sequence of prime numbers. The alien ship replied, and suddenly a primitive form of dialogue began. Humanity could finally breathe a little easier. If the aliens had meant harm, they could have destroyed the probe instantly. The fact that they chose to talk instead was a positive sign. Still, this raised urgent questions. If this was the first step in communication, what should humanity's first real message be? Were we prepared for what came next? And most unsettling of all, how could we defend ourselves if these peaceful signals suddenly turned hostile? While world leaders debated, another shocking discovery was made. Data from Voyager X showed that the alien fleet was transmitting signals, not toward Earth, but far beyond, outside our solar system. They were in contact with someone else. Were they talking to another fleet? Or were they reporting back to their homeworld, sharing what they had found about humanity? No one could say for certain, but the possibility was terrifying. If just one of these fleets was so advanced, how powerful could their entire civilization be? Meanwhile, the AI continued its careful exchange of prime numbers with the alien envoy. Days turned into weeks, but experts realized something troubling. While this method proved peaceful intentions, it was far too limited. Real communication, sharing ideas, culture, warnings, or knowledge, was impossible with just sequences of numbers. A more advanced system was needed. And so, scientists began building something new. An AI so powerful that it would run on quantum computers, capable of developing a shared language between humans and aliens. For a few days, things stayed quiet. The alien fleet kept its distance, and Voyager X continued transmitting data back to Earth. Then, something strange happened. Astronomers monitoring the skies reported that they had begun receiving unusual radio signals from a distant galaxy. At the same time, one of the alien ships detached from the rest of the fleet. Slowly and carefully, it moved closer to Earth until it reached our orbital plane, just beyond the Moon's path. From there, it did something no one expected. The scientific instruments monitoring the ship began giving off bizarre readings. It appeared that space and time around the alien craft were being warped. As if by its very presence, the spacecraft was bending the fabric of reality itself, creating ripples no human had ever observed before. This phenomenon was completely new to science. Nothing like it had ever been seen anywhere in the universe. But the strangest event was still to come. Moments later, the alien ship sent its first direct message to humanity. But it wasn't a signal made of radio waves or light pulses. It was something entirely new, something no human had ever experienced. Instead of sending words or sound, the message arrived like a thought, a concept planted directly into the mind, without language or symbols. This form of communication was unlike anything we could explain, yet understanding it was crucial. What had the spacecraft come all this way to tell us? Top scientists at SpaceX, along with cryptographers and physicists, immediately began working to decode the strange transmission. Even the most advanced computers on Earth struggled to process it. Some quantum computers crashed instantly, spitting out errors. Others got stuck in infinite loops, unable to reach a conclusion. A few systems that managed to process parts of the signal produced endlessly repeating fractal patterns, complex designs that seemed to go on forever. Was this another test of our intelligence? Or was it a true message that we simply didn't yet understand? As scientists worked, strange things began happening all over the world. The brightness of distant stars shifted ever so slightly. Telescopes detected unusual distortions in space around Earth.